I just want a thing to get out of the way. I gotta keep quiet because my mum is still asleep. It's only 7 a.m. so I gotta be very quiet to not wake her up because she sleeps in quite long. Um, she usually has her fan on so she can't hear, but I think it's not on now so she can hear me. I just wanted to make this video on OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. I watched a video on OCD and I just wanted to reach out to those suffering with sensory motor OCD or other forms of OCD that aren't recognised by psychologists and psychiatrists. Like, for example, I clicked on a video that said, you know, what is OCD? And every video on YouTube, it's just the same thing. OCD can be the following examples: intrusive thoughts, religious thoughts, sexual thoughts, inappropriate religious thoughts, it's like sexual, um, pedophilia type thoughts that you don't want to act on, that are just distressing, you know, wanting to wash your hands 100 times, wanting to lock the door. Now these are all OCD, yes, but most people who talk about OCD always mention just these examples and will say, well, if you don't have any of these, you don't have OCD. That's not true. The truth is, if you have OCD, you can have so many symptoms of OCD. There's something as flashback OCD where sometimes you'll feel like you're in a past event, which is more tied to post-traumatic stress disorder. But there's also dissociative OCD where you get depersonalization and you obsess over it. You obsess so much that you become depersonalized. What if I'm not human? Well, it's really what OCD is. If your worries are starting with what if, they are OCD. If it's what if, it's OCD. So, what if, what if, what if, it's what if, those two words, what if, that's OCD. And sensory motor OCD is another form of OCD which is not ever mentioned really at all. You focus on your breathing, your bodily movements, like your blinking, your breathing, and sometimes you can focus so much on your breathing that you actually become anxious and actually have a panic attack, and it feels like your heart is fluttering, and sometimes you can get chest pain. Now, obviously, if you get chest pain and you feel short of breath, you should probably call 999, which is the UK number for emergency, or 911 in America, or 000 in Australia, if this is your first time. But if it's happened so much times and you've been to a doctor and they said there's nothing wrong with your heart, it's probably OCD. So that's just a fact with obsessive compulsive disorder. Is they don't talk about these rare types of OCD. They always talk about the hand washing. I never had hand washing. Checking if appliances are off in case a fire might start. I've done that a lot of times, yes. That's also OCD, but you don't have to have that criteria to have OCD. So, what if, and then as long as they're stuck images or obsessions, even just obsessions, not compulsions, but I think most people with OCD do have compulsions, they just express them in a different way. Like, compulsions are listed as washing your hands, checking the light switch, but I think a lot of us come on YouTube and Google do I have OCD, and will I be okay, and that's a compulsion, that's reassurance, so that's actually a compulsion. So most of us have compulsions, we all do, but there's sometimes where there's no compulsions, it's just pure obsessive. But even in pure obsessive OCD, you're gonna question it and want reassurance. So that's it. It just the compulsion is, even if you don't recognise it, it's just always there. It just doesn't disappear. It finds its way somehow, which you might interpret as hand washing or flicking the light switch on and off. Like I had to abandon my psychologist because he said, "Oh, you don't wash your hands. You don't think there's any contamination. So yeah, I don't think you have OCD." And I was like, really? What I've been suffering with for over 13 years is not OCD, despite many psychiatrists diagnosing me, and you're a psychologist and you're not a specialist compared to a psychiatrist? You got a wrong lady. Sorry. But yeah, OCD can be a multitude of things. Anything that's what if and obsessive and it's stuck in your mind and you want reassurance, that's OCD. So yeah, that's just me explaining. And personally, what helps me, I take sertraline, 200 milligrams. I swallow 2 tablets at once. Just put 1, 2, swallow it, and that's 1 tablet is 100 milligram, and 1 more, that's 200. And then I take risperidone, 3 milligrams before bed. Makes you a little bit drowsy and can make you get gynecomastia, so be careful if you ever want to consider antipsychotics. Know the risks. And I also take oxazepam, 30 milligrams for sleep, and diazepam, 25 milligrams before or for intrusive OCD thoughts. And they really, surprisingly, diazepam works well, but you gotta, I'm currently tapering down to 15 milligram because I want to avoid the long-term risks of benzodiazepine use, because you only use benzodiazepines for a maximum of 1 month or 2 months, not longer. So yeah, that's my opinion, and hopefully, and TOCD about if you're transgender and all that, and it causes you distress and it's obsessive, that's also OCD, by the way. So yeah, just my experience living as someone, I'm not a doctor, but someone living with OCD for over 12 years. So yeah, just my experience. Thanks for watching, and hope you learn a thing or two. Sorry if you can't hear me. Put the volume up and put some headphones in. Listen in a quiet area and you won't hear me properly. So, thanks.